Right, good afternoon. My name is John Chalikoff. I'm the Associate Dean at the school. And on behalf of the Dean's Office, it's my pleasure to welcome you to this Dean's Speaker event. Now, Ken wanted me to mention, and you know Ken, you've seen him around the halls all the time. He really wanted to be here. He got called away by the president. And when the boss calls you, you got to go. So I want to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors, which are the Latin America MBA Association and the Graduate Student Council. Now, you know, these things just don't happen, and we are really lucky as a school to have such involved students. So it was 3 students that made this happen, and they are Aaron Gregory, Wild Wave, yes, okay, and Carl Palm, and Federico Cedero, and let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you everyone for coming. And well, although I know tonight's speaker from before I came here to the US, it was during my last summer at Danone where I spent my internship, in which we had time to talk a little bit, and I invited him to be here, and of course he accepted, and since then he's been very eager of being here and sharing his experience with all of us. And well, tonight's speaker is the CEO and president of Danone North America. He's also a board member for the global dairy division of Group Danone, which is the world's biggest dairy manufacturer. And he's also a board member for Stonyfield organic yogurt. Before coming to the US, our speaker was the CEO of Danone in Argentina and in Brazil, 2 markets that under his great leadership were completely turned around and are today emblematic for the French multinational. Our guest speaker will tonight share his experience as a CEO and also his insights on why the US is an emerging market and which are the main challenges that he's facing in order to develop the industry. So please help me welcome Mr. Gustavo Valle.
Good evening. Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Dean Freeman, the Student Council, and especially Federico that invited me to come here, and all of you that are present here. I didn't expect a big audience today, so thank you very much. I will present you Danone business, not only here in the US, but also worldwide, to make sure that everybody understands the company and some priorities inside the company. And then I will move to the US business. And during my presentation, I will give some insight on why I call US an emerging market. And probably at the end, we will have enough time for questions about the business or whatever you might find interesting. So we have in Danone a clear mission worldwide, which is to bring health through food to as many people as possible. So this is something that in a certain way define the roots of the way we want to grow and the way we want to succeed in the food industry. Having said that, we have chosen 4 axes where we develop our strategy. The first one is health, and it's part of our mission, and you will see afterwards that in the portfolio of the company, be a healthy food is key. Especially we consider that in those days where big part of the health issues that the humanity is facing, and also here in the US, people are suffering, are coming from food or the way the people is eating, is key. The second big element is for all. We need to, as we are a food company, we want to make sure that everybody has access to our products. That sounds like anybody's mission, because everybody wants to sell their product to everybody, but internally the challenge is to have a portfolio that could be afford for any different kind of income. Is not obvious, regardless the country where you are operating. The third axis is nature, and this is something that is becoming even much more important in some key emerging countries. When you think about, for instance, Brazil, where one of the main concerns of the population is to have access to food, one of the main concerns of the country is how to protect the resources. So it's a way to find the right balance of using the resources to feed the population, at the same time keep it sustainable. And the fourth element and is the foundation for us is people. We think that the only way for us to deliver results and transform our businesses is through people. We are organized in 4 different divisions. The biggest division is the fresh dairy products, where is the one where we started all the health propositions many years ago. The second largest division is the baby nutrition. So baby nutrition are products based on milk, but are targeted for kids between 0 to 3 years old. This is a special segment because for many reasons, kids at that age cannot be fed with whatever. So we need to make sure that what they are getting is good for their health and is good for the growth. And the way they are going to be fed at the beginning of their life is the way they are going to grow. So this is, in terms of health and innovation and scientific support, is a key division. The third division is waters, where is one of the foundation of the group, because the group started as a group with acquisition of Evian in France 40 years ago. So hydration and elimination even is a basic element in our life. Is not obvious in many places. I don't know if you know that each of us needs to drink at least 1.5 liters per day of water. So you can remember how many water have you drank today, and for sure we will need to drink at least a couple of bottles to the end of the day to reach that limit. So it's obvious, but it's not so obvious. And the fourth division is medical nutrition, where we basically manufacture food for people that cannot eat by themselves, normally in hospitals, and with food that are designed to cover some specific needs for people that or patients that are under certain treatments. So this is the size of the divisions. I can share with you the 2010 figures. Our fiscal year ended in December, but for obvious reason we cannot release any information till middle of February. But you can have an idea of the size of the division. So the fresh dairy division is a $12–13 billion division. Then baby nutrition and water are almost at the same level, with almost $3.5–4 million size. And the smaller one is medical nutrition, where even though it's the smallest one, is the highest, is where we have the highest margin in the company. This is an interesting comparison between our portfolio and our priority and how the market is trending. So this is worldwide the trend of the top categories in 2010. So and you see that the 4 fast-growing categories in the world is exactly the categories where we are present. And on the other side of the chart, you have where we geographically are based, where we have almost 50% of our business in emerging countries. And in this particular case, I'm not mentioning North America or US, an emerging country. When I say here emerging country, what is normally known as an emerging economy. We have a large portfolio. We don't have this portfolio everywhere for many reasons. For instance, in the water business, where the proximity between the source and the consumer center is a key element of the business model. We have a lot of local brands. We have probably only one international brand, which is Evian. But even though it's a brand that is, except in Japan, is consumed mainly in Europe. You find Evian here, but yeah, if some of you have seen the product on the shelf, you have realized that it's a very expensive water. And it's obvious because we are bringing this water from the Alps, no? In fresh dairy, we have also different type of products, some local brands, but this is a division where we try to have global brands. Why? Because we want to roll out the success model everywhere, and where having a global brand is a good way for us to leverage all the effort, especially in communication, that we do behind those brands. The same in the baby nutrition division. In the case of medical nutrition, we have some global brands, but it's a division where we have more than 1,000 different SKUs. Because like we have a brand like Fortimel, where it's worldwide, and we offer this benefit under the same brand in many countries. We produce some particular food for some very rare illness. So this is the reason why we have so many SKUs. Most of those brands are more than $1 billion in sales. And here you have some examples like Activia, which is also very well known here in the US. But we have also Actamil or Bebelac that are baby nutrition brands that are above the $1 billion. Innovation is key in our business because as the driver of our business is health, the resources we have in R&D in our organization is huge. We have more than 1,000 professionals working in R&D. Half of them are in one center near Paris, where they are permanently doing scientific research and trying to use the scientific research to improve our products. This is probably the most challenging consequence of our business model when we decide that we wanted to bring health through food. Because the day we started to do some research to deliver health through food, we are in the borderline with the pharmacy industry. So imagine that for a food company to work with the standards of a pharmacy industry is really challenging. We are not selling drugs. We are not in the pharmacy business. But in terms of research, for the research to be considered and accepted as the same standard for the scientific bureaus and key opinion leaders, need to have the standards of the pharmacy industry. Geographically, we are almost in the biggest market in the world, probably the only region of the world where we are less present is in Asia Pacific. We have a big business in Indonesia, but China is still a pending matter for Danone. Even though we had business there, we have had business there, it's not a market where we consider that we succeed yet. In the rest of the world, especially in Europe and in America, Latin America and North America, we are the number 1 or the number 2 player in the category we are present. We are not present with all the categories in all the countries, but in any case, we are the number 1 or the number 2 player. And geographically, those are the countries where we consider the priority of the company. And well, this word microp is the way you can see in the chart, it's very obvious how we summarize the priority in terms of geographical expansion. This choice is a mix of the business size opportunity and also our strengths in those countries. So there are countries where our presence is historically very strong, like Mexico or Brazil. And even though there are big opportunities in terms of growth, we are very strong in those countries. And then we have countries like China, where the market opportunity is huge, but we're not there yet. We need to learn how to do business there. And we have also obviously US as one of these priorities. Probably here you can see the first side of why we say that the US for us is an emerging market. Because if you look at these priorities, our challenges geographically are in emerging markets. So to do businesses in Mexico or Indonesia or Brazil, even in Russia, the way you think how to do business there is a classical emerging market. So when you put US in the list, the first idea is, well, but in US is a developed market, so you play with a different business model. And I can show you that is not the case. Probably here we are more emerging than in Brazil or in Mexico for our category, for yogurt. This is the size and the results of the group. It's a little bit more than $20 billion in sales. For many years, the group Danone has the best in class in top line growth. In the 90s, we were challenged by the market about our operating margins and also the way we were delivering cash. But over the years, we were improving year after year, and we systematically deliver between 20 to 40 basis points improvement in bottom line, which is a high tier for the market in terms of bottom line improvement. And you see that in the case of cash, we are improving our free cash flow 20% per year. Even though those are just financial indicators, the contrast between those financial indicators and the mission of the company is part of the challenges we have. Because if you think about our mission, bring health through food to as many people as possible, means that we need to research, we need to invest a lot of money to bring health, and to as many people as possible means that we need to have, to the same brand, different price points to different income levels. And that put a lot of pressure in our P&L. But on the other side, we have the financial market where Danone is like any other company in the world. So we need to deliver results for them to recommend to the investor to put the money behind Danone. So even though we have a business model that foresees health and availability to as many people as possible, we need to deliver the results. And certainly that makes our life challenging, because when we have especially young people entering our company, it's easy to engage with the mission. Then it's not so easy to make them understand that even though our mission is nice, we need to deliver the result anyway. So the cash flow and the margins need to be there anyway. So going back to the Fresh Day division, we have a product where we can mix two things that are natural or are inherent of the product: health, If you think about yogurt, I don't know how much of yogurt you consume or what do you know about yogurt, but yogurt by itself is a health food. Why? Mainly because when you eat a yogurt, you have a ferment inside. You have something alive in the product. And this thing alive in the product is what your body needs to process all your digestion. So this is the reason why yogurt is health. It's very difficult to explain. We didn't figure out yet how to put this in a TV copy, in advertising, especially because the idea to have things alive in the product is not necessarily well accepted for everybody. But the reason why yogurt is health is exactly because of that, because there's something alive inside. And at the same time, we can deliver taste. The challenge we have with taste, in some cases, is contradictory with the health, because the two easy ways to deliver taste in any food is fat and sugar. So we need to deliver taste, put in just a little of fat and just a little of sugar. And this is the reason why we have a lot of people working in R&D, because it's not obvious. And over the time, the pressure of the regulators and health professionals, like key opinion leader, is becoming tougher in terms of reducing fat and sugar. And clearly, we have two big brands in the division. One is Activia, and Activia is part of our success in the US. And the other one is Actimel, that here in the US we call Danactive. And these two brands are completely different in many things. But during many years, probably in the last 12 years, the division grew double-digit just because of these two brands, with a big difference. In Activia, you can feel the benefit. In Danactive, you won't feel the difference. So when we talk about immunity, we have the research. We have been challenged by the Federal Trade Commerce, and we have also we had a class action 2 years ago because of that, and we prove our claims, and we submit all of our research, and it's there. But you as a consumer are not going to feel any different tomorrow if you take an active. It's the way you improve your immune system. Over the time that you will feel better. In the case of Activia, it's much more easier. If you have some digestive problem and you are not very regular, if you take Activia 3, 4, 5 days, you will feel the difference. So, and this is the reason why, it's our best brand and the fast-growing brand, because just try and you will see. And the strategy we have is, as I said, the first one is affordability. And affordability means be able to offer the benefit according to the income of the household. So one thing that we do in all the countries, we analyze the different level of income through the population, and we make sure that the per capita of the brand or the category is equivalent in this different level of income. And according to the country, the situation is different and the challenges are different. I will show you a chart later that is much more clear what I'm saying. Then we need to offer different product formats, because not everybody wants to take the product in the same way or take it in the same way at different moments of the day. And clearly, we cannot ship the product in big distances, long distances. The shelf life of the product is normally 30 days, In this country, we made a miracle that have it 60 days. But in Europe, for instance, it's not allowed. So in Europe, if your shelf life is more than 30 days, you cannot even call yogurt. So in 30 days, you need to produce, ship to the supermarket, stay on the shelf, be in the fridge, and be consumed. So this is the challenge of our operation. So here is the first, probably the first insight of why we call US an emerging market. So this is the consumption per capita of yogurt in many countries. And this column of 14 is the current per capita consumption of yogurt in this country. So we consume almost nothing of yogurt. So 14 pounds is 1 cup every 2 weeks. And when we analyze this consumption across heavy consumer or light consumers, we have less than 10% of the households that consume twice a week. 40% of the households consume once a month, and the other 50% more often than less often than 1 month, which is an accident. It's not a. So imagine that if you consume a yogurt every 3 months, you are not a yogurt consumer. Maybe you were in the house of a friend and you were invited to taste a yogurt, but you are not a yogurt consumer. And we compare with countries like France or Spain or Germany, where the per capita is 6-7 times higher than in the US. Normally, when I show this chart, the first reaction is, well, there are some cultural differences. And so, okay, in France, French consume yogurt because they born with this. Well, it's not the case. In my home country, Argentina, 14 years ago, the consumption per capita was 12 pounds per year. And today is in the almost 30. So you can change that. You can change that. And this is the main reason what I call emerging country, because to change that, you need to design your business model to develop the market. And you need to develop the market with all the possible challenges you can have in the country. So this is the chart that I was referring about the challenges in terms of affordability. So here is a correlation between the per capita consumption and the effort that the family needs to make to buy the equivalent of 1 euro per day. And you see that most of the countries are on the left side, my left side, of the line. So people don't have money. So this is basically the problem. So you see a country like Mexico, Argentina. So people don't have money to buy 1 euro a day. So in that case, we need to design products that are at lower prices to make it possible. In the case of US, we are exactly in the other extreme. So here we have the money. This is an average. When you start to make the analysis by a socioeconomical group, it's different. But as an economy in this country, you have the money for people afford 1 euro a day. But the problem is that the consumer don't care. So there are no relevance. So we need to create the relevance for the consumer, accept that the proposition of yogurt is something that make it part of the daily habit. So in that context, what we need to do here in the US is basically 3 things. The first thing is to create the habit. So we need to convince consumers that there are a good reason to consume 1 euro a day. The second challenge, and look obvious, but it's not so obvious, is to change the way you relate with the product when you go to the supermarket. You will see some pictures that are a little bit challenging, but our customers, the retailers, even though they believe that we have a huge opportunity in terms of growth in this country, the way they are operating the category is contradictory. So if you go to the supermarket and you go, for instance, to the cookie aisle, and you see the execution of Oreo, it's a chocolate cookie, you will see one entire aisle of this blue or light blue packaging with a very well executed price, very good visual. In the extreme of the aisle, you have the promotional activities, and in the middle of the aisle, you have some activities of the innovations, and you can identify easily what you are looking for. If you face the yogurt aisle, it's very difficult to find a product. Normally, in a very small space, you have between 250 to 300 different SKUs. And it's cold, it's very cold. It's around 40 degrees, so it's very cold. So we make the study that the shopper takes normally 1 minute to take the decision. So imagine that you are facing, a very crowded aisle where you cannot identify the product, and it's cold, and you have 1 minute to take a decision. So most of the cases, they don't buy. And it's not because they are not going through. They are going through, because to go to the yogurt aisle, you need to go in front of the milk, the orange juice, and the eggs. So those are the three basic staples of any family. So if you think about the shopping list, the three main elements on the shopping list is eggs, milk, and orange juice. So the shopper goes through that, but they are not buying yogurt. So we have the traffic, but we don't have the conversion. And we need to have the right operational model. That this is another concept that could sound obvious, but this is different from other emerging countries. So, and I will give you an example. So when you are developing business, for instance, in Brazil or Mexico, and you want to launch a new product, normally you buy a machine or you adapt a machine, you launch the product, and if it is a success or if it is a failure, you are dealing with one machine, because the markets are smaller. When you want to launch a product in the US, you need to build a factory. So when you buy a machine, costs between $5 to $10 million. Build a factory costs $100 million. So the way a company relates with that decision is completely different. So you can buy a machine, and if it fails, you can resell the machine, or you can readapt the machine, or you can even send this machine to other country to a different product. But here we need to build a factory. So the room we have to fail is very limited. So we need to make sure that each time we launch something, it's a success. Because if not, we have a factory in the market. Okay? And the distances in this country are particularly very long. So we can justify a factory just because of the cost of transportation. So if we have our main factory in Ohio, which is basically designed to serve the East Coast, but to send product to California, we need another factory. So we have a factory in Utah to reduce our operational costs. And even though we have other large countries, with the exception of Russia, all the others has big consumer centers. For instance, in Brazil, the distances are more or less similar to the US, but the consumption is on the coast, and especially in the south of the country. So if you have a factory in the south of Brazil, you can supply all the market. But here we have big cities everywhere, so we need to have factories everywhere. So coming back point by point, to create this habit among consumers, the first thing we need to do is to create more occasions for the yogurt. So normally, yogurt is a snack. So you eat as a snack. And a snack for us is not the best occasion because we compete with a tastier snack. So you are not necessary to think healthier at the snacking time. But when you go through breakfast or lunch, you are much more conscious about what you are eating. But today, yogurt is at the snack occasion, so we need to create the occasion. We need to change the way you are purchasing the product. So we need to make sure that when you stop in front of the shelf and you take the product, you take as much as possible. Because if it is crowded, if you're going to be only 1 minute there and you choose one cup, to get you again the following day is going to be very challenging. So we need to make sure that the day you are there and you decide to take the product, you take as much as possible. And we need to increase the base of households that are eating yogurt more often. So we are the only company that has portfolio across all the different type of yogurts. So we have from the organic type of product like Stonyfield to the Activia with the very sophisticated benefit with different kind of ferments. And we have the Greek and the kids. So we have the largest portfolio in the market. We think that occasions, as I said, is key. So we are also investing in frozen yogurt, which is a different way to eat yogurt, and certainly tastier way to eat yogurt. So 2 years ago, we bought the frozen yogurt leading company in the market. But the main challenge is, as I said, is at the shopper side. So what is going on the day you are taking the decision, because there are not enough space. So it's a very small place. You won't find promotion. There are no spaces for the promotion. Normally the shelf is overloaded. There are no cementation, and normally you have SKUs by cup, not multi-packs. So here is some pictures. So here is the case of Walmart. So one of the pictures is Walmart in Brazil, and the other picture is Walmart in the US. So imagine that here in this picture, in 1 minute, you need to find your product. And if you see there, even though it looks like there are some effect in the picture, the size of the shelf in Walmart in any Brazilian supermarket is in the 40-50 feet. The average size in the US is 16 feet. And the consumption per capita is more or less the same. Brazil is in the 14, 16 pounds per year. So it's the same consumption. But look at one country, another country, the same customer. This is where a promotion is executed. So if you go to Mexico, Spain, France, Germany, Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Colombia, you have this type of execution on the promotion. You have a corner where you have all the new product, and you can dress even the corner. Here you have a bunker, which is is a fridge that is a hole where you cannot see the product. If you are walking through the corridor, you don't know what is inside. So you need to go exclusive to buy this. You need to go and look inside to see what is there. And the number you have below is the availability of this secondary placement in the supermarket, because you have one in the dairy aisle. So sometimes you have yogurt, sometimes you have orange juice, sometimes you have cheese. I have seen in Walmart a promotion between orange juice and vodka in the dairy aisle. So the average is that we have only 20 weeks a year with some yogurt inside. I'm not talking about Danone, the category. So in these 20 weeks, we need to fight with our competitors to have the fair share or even more. And it's completely crowded. So here you have the numbers of SKU per food. And the situation in the US is completely out of control. And you can say, where is this coming from? Where is it coming from? It's very simple. It's coming from the fact that the category was a snack during 40, 50 years. So if it's a snack, first, you don't buy very often. It's occasional. And second, you need a lot of variety. And this idea of occasionally and variety makes that you need to have a diverse variety. You need to have many formats, many flavors. So this is against the order on the shelf. So when you have a brand that has 24 flavors, you cannot manage the space because by design you are overload the shelf. When you overload, you don't have any segmentation. And the picture you have below in this chart is not only nice. We prove that when you have this type of aisle, you sell more because it's easy to make the choice. Normally, this is the way you convince retailers to change the way they organize the shelf. So we are in the process here to do this. In this area, in New England, you have much more segmentation than in the rest of the country. If you go to some of the Boston supermarkets, not the small ones, but the big ones, you will have a large shelf with segmentation. But if you go to the Middle West, it's 16 feet and no segmentation. And single serve. So the product was designed to sell by unit. And we are pushing the multi-pack. We want to make sure that each time you make the choice, you take 4 units, 8 units, 12 units. And we do the research that when you have 2 units in your fridge and you shop every week, you consume 2 units. But if you have 8 units in your fridge, you will consume 8 units. So once you have the product on your fridge, you will consume. So this is the reason why we want to push multi-packs. But imagine that when we need to convince retailers to move from the single serve to the multi-pack, we need to engage them in the way we want to manage the category in a completely different way. And this is the challenges we have as what I said, emerging market, because we need to play with different rules. We need to create the rules. And in other category where the rules are set, you follow the rules and you can grow 2, 3, 4% per year. But imagine if we want to go for 14 pounds per year to 20, 30, our average growth needs to be 15%, 20%. So to provide this growth, we need to engage all the value chain with this operational model. So we need a bigger shelf, multi-pack, more organization on the shelf, segmentation, at the same time that we need to convince consumers to go and push the product. But this is the main dynamic behind the idea of an emerging market. Play, not with the rules, change the rules, challenge the rules, because if not, the growth is going to be the same growth of the rate of the rest of the food industry. So this is the main challenge we have with our teams. When our teams have a performance of +5, +6%, that is the average of the food industry, we cannot accept it, and it's a frustration. So how you can live with the idea that you are +10 and you are not there? But this is what we need to create, the mindset that +10 is not enough. It's not enough for us, it's not enough for the sales team, it's not enough for the retailers, it's not enough for everybody. And as I said, we need to have the right operational model. Why? We need, as I said, large factories distributed across the country because shelf life, as I said, is key. The size of the investment is huge, so we need to make sure that when we launch the product, the success is not guaranteed, but is almost guaranteed. And our teams needs to be they need to be adapted with the idea of changing the rules. And probably this is the most challenging element of our business model. So imagine that when you come from an industry where you just need to execute, and when you deliver this average growth is fine, and then you need to change your mindset and go to the retailer explaining that the way they are working is wrong, and they need to change, and the way they are executing the promotion is wrong. The way you are advertising needs to change dramatically because you need to be in different channels, different means to connect with the consumer. And at the end, you need to deliver a double-digit growth because it's not enough. It's challenging. Not everybody is prepared for that. It's not a mystery because I think that once you are in, you start to play the game, but you need to be open to that. You need to have the willingness to succeed in this environment. This is a company that is growing double-digit every year. So we have years where we are very happy, like 2006, that we grew almost 20%, or 2010 when we grew 22%, and we have years where we grew 2-3%, and it's a drama, like 2009. And when we have a drama, is when we change our business model. When we have a growth that is below 10%, is when we say, okay, we need to change the model. It's not working anymore. Or we need to launch a new brand, or we need to change the value model, or we need to do a different route to market, or we need to have a different conversation with our retailers. Because at 10% growth per year, which is the average in the last 6 years, we are going to be at the level of Spain or France in terms of consumption per capita in 40 years. And if you think about that, today we have the same size of our businesses in France or Spain. If we were at the level of consumption per capita of these countries, we should be 5 times or 6 times those companies. And this is the reason why the US is the priority for Danone worldwide. But the mindset of our teams and the way we design the product needs to be creating the rules, change the rules. If not, it's not going to come. So this is the company. This is our challenges. I didn't want to give you much more details. I am sure that you have many questions, and please. Yes.
Thank you for coming to our school. I have a question about Stonyfield Farms. Does Danone own the entire company or a percentage of shares?
We have 80%.
80% of Stonyfield. And maybe that's one of the ways in which penetration into the U.S. market, instead of making it a, this snack, maybe like the health conscious, it can be achieved through the organic sense that Stonyfield Farm brings. So what are the options of acquiring the entire company, or is that an impediment to the growth in the health sector?
Well, I think that there are two different questions in your question. The first one is why we have only 80% of Stonyfield. So Stonyfield is a company that is dedicated to a different kind of consumer. So people that normally buy organic has a different way of thinking about food. Certainly care less on price, about price than the rest of the consumers. and the way you produce your product is completely different, because you need to make sure that you have the supply chain network prepared for your business. So imagine that when you produce a product like Stonyfield, the milk we are using is organic. So we need to make sure that the farm that is providing the milk is certified organic, and the farmer has a sustainable business. So it's a complete different model. In Danone, when we buy milk, we go to a cooperative, normally it's US dairy farmers, and we are always looking for prices. So when we can find better prices in another place, we buy from another source. Because at the end of the day, milk has the same milk as milk. There are no big difference in milk. But when you are organic, you need to make sure that the way they produce is organic. So the reason why we have only 80% of Stonyfield is because we want to make sure that the team that manage Stonyfield preserve the business. It's not only the design of the product or the positioning of the brand, but it's also all the supply chain network, the upstream supply chain network. Then the other part of your question is about the trend as a consumer. So today in the US, the organic food represents 3% of the market in all the categories. And in yogurt, it's more or less the same, it's 3%. So I think that it's a trend that probably is going to continue growing. But for us, it's important what we learn from Stonyfield. So, for instance, the group Danone today has nature as one of the priorities because of Stonyfield. So 10 years ago, we didn't have nature as a priority. But by understanding Stonyfield, we decide that nature be sustainable in the way we are using our resources is part of the future. Someday, all of us are going to make decisions based on how we care about our natural resources.
Which have you felt were the biggest difference between managing a company in Latin America and managing a company in the US?
This is the most popular question in all the presentations. So there are two big differences. In Latin America, you have a less ethic environment in general, and people have a lot of flexibility. Everybody has a lot of flexibility. So the workers, the regulators, the retailers, everybody, your suppliers. Here is the other way around. So we don't need to care about the ethics because the business ethic is very strong here. So for internal control, by design, here works very well. In Latin America, you need to make a lot of audit and check that to see that the ethics is preserved. But here, you don't have the same flexibility that in Latin America. So people don't want to change. There is a resistance of change that is much more strong than in Latin America. So those are the two big differences. So, but you need to find people that is close to this. We need to find people that is closest to this idea of mindset change and allow us to make the changes. Yes.
So how is Danone relationship right now with your competitors in the US? I would think that it would be useful to work together to push the channel and to change the way retailers think about the product, but
it's not possible. It's not possible. You know, in Latin America, you can sit in a table with your competitor. Here, if you don't have a lawyer in the middle, you cannot do it. So it's very complicated. Ideally, I think that you are coming from the idea that if everybody plays the game of developing the category, it's going to be easier for everybody. But in fact, this is happening. In fact, this is happening. So not by sharing or talking, but I think that here you have big companies behind the category that they see what the others is doing. So I have seen a lot of changes in the last 2 years. So our main competitor now is targeting the category. It's not playing for market share anymore. And so it's good. We consider that it's very good. And we think that if we have more people investing behind the category in the market, it's going to be even better because it's going to go faster. It's going to grow faster. Yes.
You show that in America, yogurt consumption is a little low, but at the same time, I know that Americans have a lot of consumption of milk, plain milk. So, and in my country, for instance, Chile, is the opposite way. That we are very, very good consumers of yogurt, but we're very bad on milk. So I'm seeing that in order to increase your market share or the consumption of yogurt in America, you have to take some space of plain milk. So assuming that assumption is correct, how do you think that milk brands and also like consumers in America are going to react? Because that's going to be one of your challenges.
Yes, well, I think that there's a small difference in what you are saying. In most of the Latin American countries, and even though in the Eastern European countries, you have big milk companies that they have from milk to yogurt or cheese. So you have dairy companies, not only milk companies. It's the case of Chile with Soprole. So you have large companies that they have all the product range in dairy. So in those countries, you have companies that they have pushed milk or they have pushed added value products, because this is the big difference. So a milk company that only plays on milk normally make between 3 to 4% margin. It's very low margin. When you observe a yogurt company or a cheese company, margins are 10, 12, 14, are in the double digit. So the companies that have the full range, they prefer to push the added value product. And this is probably the case of why Soprole prioritize yogurt and not necessarily milk. But in our case, in the US, the challenge is to make the price of the yogurt compatible with the price of milk. For instance, if you observe the Western European countries, where you have milk companies and cheese companies and yogurt companies, you don't have big dairies. The ratio between yogurt and milk is 1/3 that the ratio between yogurt and milk in the US. In the US, the milk is one of the cheapest milk in the world for the consumer. So when you compare this price with the yogurt, we are much more expensive. So we need to equilibrate the price of yogurt. So well, apparently it's easy, no? Because you say, okay, decrease the price and you will solve the problem. But it's not so easy. We decrease the price, we destroy the P&L of the company. So we need to make sure that we make a balance between the growth of the category and the price of the product. So over the time, the yogurt is going to be more affordable in this country. It needs to be, because imagine that here now we have an explosion of Greek yogurt consumption. It's at $1, the cheapest one, and you have $1.30, $2. Well, as a yogurt, it's very expensive. And when you see the trend in the market, the explosion of Greek is not increasing nothing the per capita consumption of the category. So it's the same people that used to eat normal yogurt that now are buying a Greek yogurt. So to bring new consumers to the category, it's obvious that you need to create the relevance and explain the benefit, but the price needs to be much more affordable. Yes.
I have also another question. The strategy you told us about the SKUs getting more ordered and to see, like, you can see very clear where is the brand, and also about buying like 4 packages. Most of this is going to be like in the big retailers. Are the big retailers willing to do that because you're going to compete also with private labels? How is your strategy with the private labels?
Well, private label in the US is probably different than in the rest of the world. So in Europe, private label is our main competitor because the price gap is high, is huge. Here the price gap is not too high. Many of the supermarkets they produce their own private labels. For instance, Kroger in the Middle West has its own dairy factories. Kroger is one of the biggest dairy manufacturers in the market. So they are making margin, they are making money producing dairy. And you have others, Safeway in the West Coast or H-E-B in Texas. And then you have retailers like Walmart that they buy the product to manufacturers, but they position the price 10–15% below. So I think that private label is not the issue today in the market. The issue for me is that for the same type of product of the private label, you have 6 to 8 manufacturers. This is the problem. So when you think about the yogurt, regular yogurt, full-fat yogurt with fruits, which is basically what you can find in a private label, for this type of product, you have 8 manufacturers. In a category where you don't have a space on the shelf, the problem is not the private label. The problem is that you have 8 manufacturers fighting for a small space.
There are 25 different flavors in the yogurt market, but I noticed Danone focus on maybe 2 flavors, strawberry and vanilla. So do tell me a little about your strategy in flavor. Have you considered add the new flavors in the product line in the future?
No, I don't want to have more flavors. This is, well, if you go through any product, any retail, the 80-20 rule applies, even for yogurt. So 80% of the volumes are strawberry and vanilla, or blueberry. Okay, but so maybe you can have 6 flavors, 8 flavors, not 24 flavors. And today you need to prioritize. So I think that we as consumers, we like to have variety. So and this is a fair point. I think that we have a lot of complaints when we delist some flavor. We immediately have consumers complaining because they cannot find this flavor. But we need to make choices. We need to be consistent with the supermarkets in the message. If we are pushing them to segmentate, to reduce the number of manufacturers, to have less SKUs, we cannot put 20 flavors on the market. So we need to be consistent. So we are making tough choices in that regard. Yes.
After last year, the price of feed for cattle and the horrible drought in Texas has definitely affected the price of dairy. Is Danone nervous about their margins disappearing because of the price of dairy?
Well, each time we have a peak on the price of dairy, we have a problem. Yes. In the last 6 years, we have 2 big crises. One was in 2007, and the other one was last year. In 2007, there were a huge debate if we should be able, if we could increase prices or not. But that was not related with the consumer. Was related with the retailers. If the retailers were going to accept price increases, and was very tough because normally all the industries try to divide the price increase in 2 steps. And the first step went through, the second step didn't. And that creates a problem. Last year, everybody increased prices. But the problem is that the product is very expensive, so consumers don't like price increases. So we are challenging ourselves to compensate the price increase in our operational model. So we need to compensate by reducing other costs. Yes, and milk prices is going to be a problem for the next 30, 40, 50 years. I don't know, because you have one region of the world that when increase the consumption affect all the rest. With Asia, each time Asia increase the consumption, the milk price increase. So probably in the next 2 years, with the economical crisis that we have all over the world, it's not going to be so tough, but it's as any commodity. So you have more than the 50% of the population that are not eating properly. So commodity prices are going to increase, certainly. Yes. Yes.
Can you talk about the marketing conditions leading up to the brand launch of Oikos and just the general explosion of popularity in Greek yogurt and how it's been performing so far since it launched?
Well, Oikos is doing very well. We have different performance depending on the region. The fact is that Danone as a company entered late in the Greek segment. So we decided to launch under Oikos because we had this brand from Stonyfield, and Stonyfield succeeded launching Oikos. All the Greek trend started in the Northeast with Giovanni. So we consider that the best brand we has to compete with Giovanni is Oikos. Then we need to fix the other pieces of the marketing mix, and one key piece is the packaging. We are not there yet. If you follow or you consume Oikos, you will see that there are two different kind of packaging. One of them is very nice, the other is not so nice. So we are moving to the nice one, obviously. And the other piece is the product itself. So when we launch under Oikos brand, we make sure that this product was winning in a market test over the leader. So since then, we are doing well. The problem with Greek today that is a race for capacity. So it's growing so fast that everybody is investing in the market. So we are investing now we're increasing our capacity in our factory in Minster and in our factory in Utah, 60 million pounds each. And so each time we have capacity, we sell it. But our competitor is also, they are building a new factory in Idaho. So it's a race for capacity, which is another problem. I think that very, very soon, the price of Greek is going to decrease because you are having many offers from different manufacturers, and everybody is investing on capacity. But for us, Greek is there are two learnings from Greek. One is regarding the consumer preference of the product itself, and the other is the competitiveness of the portfolio. So the fact that a more thicker, more creamy product is being preferred by the consumer, for us is very important because it's something that we are using for other innovations. Greek is not increasing the consumption per capita, so it's not the solution. So we need to participate in that market, but it's not the solution. So the per capita consumption is going to increase for other products, not Greek. Yes. Yeah, well, you are together, so one and the other.
I'm curious about your logistics network. I understand you have a really short shelf time. So what are the main strategies to achieve placing your product on the shelf in a just-in-time basis?
Well, we are far from being just-in-time. Because first, the way the retailers order is based on the performance of last week. So they have a order system that based on what happened last week, they prepare the order for next week. So you have a 1 week delay between the decision is being made and the moment that you can read the market. And then to make it efficiently, you need to deliver through big trucks, 100% loaded, to warehouses. So then that creates between 8 to 12 days of stock in the whole network. So it's a little bit challenging, yes. But I think that the fact that you have too many SKUs in the system complicates even more. Imagine that if you need to simplify your operation with 100 SKU, it's easier than 300 SKU. So what we are trying to do is to partner with the retailers the way they are deciding the size of the order. So we have teams, we have a department that we call customer solutions that work with the retailers. It's behind the doors of the retailer to make to get on this area. But the space, at the end of the day, the problem you have on the shelf is affecting the whole network. Imagine that the combination of flavors with this, no? So you have 3 feet of shelf, yeah, and you have 3-4 faces of strawberry and vanilla, and you have 20 faces of other things. So what happened? Friday, Saturday at 4 in the afternoon, you don't have more strawberry or vanilla on the shelf, and you have all the other flavors. So what is happening in the shelf is affecting the decision. The order system of the retailer is going to issue an order based on 4 faces of strawberry, what maybe it should be 8 or 10. So that created a whole complication in the network. So to simplify the whole operation is the same problem to simplify the shelf. The better you can have your product on the shelf, the better you have your operation. Even in the factory. Imagine that if you need to produce 20 flavors, you need to stop the machine to change the flavor. And you know, a yogurt machine is a tank with a pipe. So each time you stop the machine to change the flavor, you need to clean everything. Because if you imagine that if you are filling strawberry and then you need to fill the vanilla, you know, the first production of vanilla is gonna be with strawberry. So you need to clean everything. So you need to stop all the factory and clean it. Everything is related. So this is the reason why all the focus of the company is on make it simple at the point of sales. So we have an obsession with the point of sales. We need to make sure that we change as fast as possible the category on the shelf, because this is going to simplify our life in many other aspects.
So I'm curious about kind of affordability and more in the traditional emerging economies. How do you offer your brand at these different price points, especially targeting like lower income families? How do you make it affordable to them, basically?
Well, we've been here or in other countries?
In other countries.
Oh, well, normally what you do is you have a familiar type of packagings. Now, for instance, in Latin America, people don't eat yogurt; people drink yogurt, so it's drinkable. It's not spoonable. So in most of these countries, you have 1 liter, which is I don't know how many ounces. So a big bottle that and that is a very affordable price. Or packagings that we decrease some cost of the packaging. So for instance, if you look at the packaging here, you have the lid, the label, and sometimes you have the overwrap. Well, So all these elements are cost. So we design packagings without the overwrap and without part of the label. So we try to have only the lid and put all the brands and the nutritional profile, everything on the lid. And instead of selling 4 packs, we go to the 6-pack or 8-pack. So this is one way. Normally we don't try to change the product itself because especially in some key brands, for instance, in Activia, you cannot change the product itself. So it's the same product. Even you can put more fruit or less fruit, but the rest of the product is the same. And normally we try to align with the retailers the margin of the product, because when you have an affordable product, normally you have more traffic on the store. So if the retailer applies a margin of 30%, we try to negotiate the price point where we reduce our margin and they reduce their margin. So normally this mix works. Here we have some examples. Here we have some retailers that are very open to do that, and we have done this, and we are doing that. We launched a new product now in January that is called Pure, which is a very low price point. We negotiate the margin with the retailers. So it's a six units, 6-pack at $1.99. It's the most affordable yogurt you will find in the market. It's even at lowest price, and I'm doing the advertising. It's a lowest price at the private level, but it's a very good product. The product itself is very good. There are no downgrade in the downsize in the formula. It's a very good product. But we negotiate the margin with the retailers, and we reduce our own margin. And we expect to compensate the margin with the size of the business. No? Yes?
In the same line with Anya's question, I'm from Morocco, and Danone was like the first player in the market. Like it was so widely consumed that people refer to yogurt as Danone. And now what's happening? Well, Danone first tried to adapt prices by playing on quality, packaging. And what's happening right now is that there are some local players that are really sometimes they have some advantages, so they offer a better quality. Now what's happening? It's kind of becoming a war over price. Do you think that this is gonna affect the margins, or? So now how I see it is that Danone has to compete in terms of price and quality, while keeping the products affordable for a low-income country.
Well, certainly what we have learned from all those situations is that what you cannot do is touch the quality. When I refer to the quality, and I think that you are referring to the same point, it's not that the product is bad. The product is still good, but they have less ingredients than the previous one. So
that's what I mean by quality, because I tried yogurt in probably 3 continents, and each time you move from a continent to the other, the quality is not the same at all.
Yeah, but you mean the quality is what you perceive as a product. So it's not that the product in one country is tastes bad, or you cannot keep it in your fridge. So is that it's more creamy, or it has more fruit, or more flavor, these type of things. But normally, it's an easy way to reduce the cost is to change the ingredients. No, so for instance, the cheapest fruit that you have in the market is apple. And today you have technology to make an apple taste like a strawberry. Yes. So you put the apple in the fruit prep. So when you crunch, you feel the fruit, but by technology, you put the taste of a strawberry. Okay, this is cheaper than have a strawberry. Okay, So, so it's a very easy way to reduce the cost of the product, to do this type of thing. But you know, the consumer realized that in a second. So, so the learning we have from all these countries and all these experiences is that you cannot touch the quality of the product. On the contrary, you need to increase the quality of the product. What you need to do is to work in the rest of the value chain. So, in a country like Morocco, the main cost probably is the transportation cost of the milk and the distribution cost, because one of the main issues we have in those countries is the cold chain. So you don't have in all the stores the equipment to keep the product in the fridge. There are no fridges in all the stores, especially in the small mom and pops. So you need to deliver to them every day. Well, the cost of delivery every day is very high. So this is where we need to address to reduce the cost. So in some countries, it's worth to put the fridge by ourselves rather than to visit the store every day.
Okay, we have time for one last question. Don't everybody rush.
I don't know if it's true, but you guys have a Super Bowl ad coming up?
Yes.
I don't know what part you had in that. But
Third quarter?
Yeah.
It's an ad of Oikos. So, and the reason we are putting Oikos in the ad is because we want to put yogurt in a mainstream audience. So, from the financial standpoint, probably it's not the best decision to put an ad on the Super Bowl. Imagine that you know, one ad in the third quarter of the Super Bowl cost $4 million. So with $4 million, we can put an ad of Oikos during 3 months in the rest of the network. But it's a mainstream. There are many things. First, there is another story behind the Super Bowl. So you put the ad in one of the spots, and then if your ad is good, one of the top 10 ads, you create a buzz around your ad that maybe you will have more exposure that if you put, you know, in a normal campaign in many networks. And we want to do that. So, and we all the creativity part of the process was designed to be in the top 10. So it's not a typical Danone advertising. It's you know, when we show this ad to my colleagues in Europe, they were, "Are you crazy or what?" Yeah, but you know, if you want to create the buzz in the Super Bowl, you need to do something very crazy, and this is what we intend to do. But the decision that is to put a yogurt in a mainstream audience, because this is the challenge. We need to make sure that, you know, yogurt is for everybody. No, and normally, when you think about yogurt, normally it's for kids or for women. So we need to, if we want to increase the per capita, we need to have yogurt for everybody. So this is for us is a starting point. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Gustavo, again for your time and for being here and sharing your experience with us. And on behalf of the Latin American MBA Association, the Student Council, the Dean's Office, and all of us here at Boston University, we'd like to show a little token of our appreciation.
Okay.
Thanks again for coming here.
Thank you very much.